How's it going, YouTubers? Back with another CB repair here. Been kind of banging one out a day kind of here lately, just because I'm trying to go through all these radios as I move them over to shop and that, and gotten some business here lately. CBs have kind of seemed to pick up. But anyway, I got a little TRC-429, which is kind of a neat little radio. Basically, it's what it is it's a hidden unit, and then everything, your channel selector, your volume, and your squelch is all on your hand mic. So basically you can tuck this under a seat and it just plugs in a little module there, and then you actually got on the front, all you got is handset speaker, internal speaker, and external speaker. So depending on where you mount it, you might want to mount an external speaker, or you might want to use a headset. I'd probably use an external speaker, just because if you're mounting this under a seat, I don't know that this mic's going to put out the speaker in this mic's going to be out loud enough. I would say probably an external speaker. Anyway, I'm off in the weeds there. Right now I'm doing a little more troubleshooting. Basically what I've found so far with this is, as usual, I've got a 10 millivolt output on my I'm generating a 1000 kilohertz at 2 millivolts audio tone in my RF generator. I'm generating a tone into the radio for the receive, so that I can basically right now, since it doesn't have any receive audio and it doesn't have any modulation either, so I know it's somewhere in the audio circuit. I'm just injecting that signal in the radio so that I can take my little oscilloscope probe here and trace that signal. And I mean, these videos, I'm trying to keep them around 10-15 minutes. I wish it was that easy, but typically these type troubleshootings, you could be hours in here just probing. But basically, right over here I have a leader oscilloscope, and what I'm doing is with that tone in there, see if I can show you somewhere. You see it signal coming across there like that right there. That is my that's my 1000 kilohertz tone that I'm generating. So what I'm doing is I'm just probing, going from place to place and seeing where that signal stops. See, I'm still getting a signal. It's probably filtered there, but it's still there. So anyway, I'll follow this until I just keep probing and following the circuit back here. In fact, that's interesting. Oh, okay, it did hit. One thing I'll tell you as you're probing these, if you notice I'm using a real fine point probe here, be very, very careful doing this. I suggest you got a steady hand and take your time, and you do not want to. A lot of these terminals are, on the circuit board. A lot of these eyelets are where the capacitors and resistors, everything soldered down to the board. Those eyelet holes are very close together, so it'd be very easy to short it, and you could turn maybe an easy repair of a capacitor or something into shorting the whole radio out. So anyway, if you do this, some type of probe, and there's many ways you could do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tone generator, but the idea basically is to create a receive signal that I can trace back. And the one I've got up there's an easy 1000 kilohertz wave that I can track real easy and know if I'm on it or not. But anyway, yeah, just getting off in the weeds again. I tend to do that. But just make sure you don't, when you touch each one of these, very carefully. I usually rest my hand against the radio like this, so that whenever I drop, see, I'm just getting one there. Of course, I'm getting a signal there too, which that's right off the oscillator of the crystal, so I should be. But anyway, and I'll just continue to work my way back. And the hope is what I'll do is I'll get to a point where I know the signal should go through. Like I'll go on one side of a cap, and then I'll go on the other side of the cap, and I won't have any signal on the other side of the cap, or a very limited one. And then I know that I've got something going there that's not passing the signal through. So anyway, I'm going to continue to probe in here and see if I can't find out what the fault is, and we'll get back if I find something. Okay, I've been probing around here for about 30 minutes, and lo and behold, if I didn't find something interesting. I don't know if you can, hopefully, let me get the probe over here and try to use it as a pointer, and if I can hold a steady hand here. But if you look real close there, look at that terminal right there where I've got my probe sitting. Look real close at that. If you look at that, you could tell that it's got a solder break on it. Well, anyway, as I was probing, I hit that one, and first time I hit it off to the side here on the solder pad, and I had tone, but then when I hit the pin on the chip, I had no tone. So right there, I knew that I had a bad connection. I'm betting that is on the audio chip. So my guess is that's exactly what my problem is. So I'm going to stop here and go ahead and solder that up and see if that doesn't solve the problem. Okay, I'm getting ready to solder that identified loose pin on this audio chip over here. It's probably a TA1740 AP or 42 AP, I think is what they call it. It's an audio chip that they use in about all these CBs. In fact, I just placed an order from China. It's a knockoff, but they seem to function good. I've had good luck with them, and you try to buy a true. I think Sanyo actually made them to start with, and if you try to buy a true Sanyo, you're gonna pay like $15 a piece for it or something like that. And in these repairs, it's just not worth it to spend that kind of money. I order my finals from China too, and they're off knockoff SC 1969s, but I've had good luck from this one vendor I get, but I get them for like $2 or $3 a piece, and locally you'd pay $10-15 a piece if you could get it. But anyway, I'm off in the weeds there. But as you saw, I just went ahead and soldered that. Which, by the way, the way I was explaining how I troubleshoot, there's multiple ways you could do that. Just for speed of service for me, it seems like that's one of my easiest ways to inject a signal in and trace the signal back, because I could use an oscilloscope and probe in here pretty quick. But you could use a digital. You don't have to have an oscilloscope. You don't have to have an RF generator for a lot of this stuff. You could use a digital voltmeter. Most of the newer ones today, they'll have diode checks and transistor checks, etc. And you can do a lot of this with less equipment. It just, with my equipment, it makes it a little faster. I've got generate a tone on frequency. I've got a watt meter here. I can check distortion. I can inject signals. I got an oscilloscope to follow the signal. I got another oscilloscope I can use to see the modulation wave. But all that stuff is not necessary to, you gotta be a shade tree CB mechanic. Just if you take it easy, like I said, even with anything you use, be very careful if you're probing in the back here, not to short out between two pads. And you can go find out the specs on that audio chip, and it'll tell you, pin 1's voltage in and pin 3's, output, and with that you can go back and trace and use the schematic too. But like I said, for me, I'm just kind of giving you the way I like to do it, and I like to inject a tone, and I can just probe, and hopefully find a break in it. It doesn't always work. Different circumstances of what the component failed and how it could fail to that might not work. It might still pass, but it could be bad. But anyway, I'm rambling on. I went ahead and soldered that. Let's go ahead and see if that did any improvements on the audio of this thing. Yeah, which I'm gonna have to clean her up, and they definitely left me I got like a 1/4 of an inch of terminals left on these wires. I couldn't cut them any closer. Except they just snapped it whenever they had at least 6 inches on it. But anyway, I think I can get some wires on there and heat shrink and clean it up. But let's see here. Let's go ahead and power on. Aha! You guys hear that? That's a good sign. Sure enough. Well, let's see about audio. Hello, audio. Hey. Hello, audio. Yeah. She got good strong signal. Dead key in 3, swinging about 7 or 8, and that's on average. Peak would probably be 8 or 9, and RMS would be about 4.5. Hello, audio. 140% modulation, and we're at negative 90 dB at 10 microvolts. So actually, we're at 2.5 microvolts. So. There's a 1/4 of a microvolt there, 0.25 microvolt. I'm still getting a receive. That's within spec. Full toning at 2 microvolts. That's good. Anyway, it looks like we've got one repaired radio here now. Let me go ahead and button it up and clean this up a little bit, and kind of give you the final view of the product after I'm going to lengthen these wires on it, clean it up a little bit, clean the face up, clean the rest of the switches. Go ahead and clean these switches. I noticed they were a little crackly, and I didn't even know Radio Shack made this little remote one. I wonder what year this was made. It doesn't really say. It's Japanese made. Cool. So it's probably a 70s. Anyway, let me go ahead and button her up, and we'll give a little final video on this repair. Well, I did some digging around. I don't know if you saw that earlier, but on this was it TRC 429? Look what they left for wires off of here. I mean, I got nothing, and then I was thinking about just putting some wires on there, and I really don't like two things. One is I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a plug, and then the other thing is I don't care for that. Is there's no way it's polarized, which try to make this as simple as I can. So anyway, I got to digging around in my little bin of stuff, and I found this set here, this little 2-wire plug. So I'm going to go ahead and do this 2-wire plug here, and that'll give them ample room to go ahead and still hook it up, but have a plug so you can wire it and then plug it in after you wire it. Just kind of the right way to do it. Get these wires stripped back here, and get a little bit of a heat shrink here. And I was at Harbor Freight today. First time I've been to Harbor Freight in a year. With this COVID, I wasn't going to take any chances. With an elderly mom, and I'm fat and old myself, the last thing I wanted to do was catch that. So I've been kind of a hermit for the last year or so. Of course, then I lost my job in September due to COVID. So I've really literally been just hiding out. So anyway, back to the story. I went to Harbor Freight today because I finally I got my COVID shots. I live in Oklahoma, and they've been pretty good about pretty quick, I'd say, from what I've seen in other states. But anyway, I had an opportunity to get mine, and I got my second shot 2 weeks ago today. So last shot 2 weeks ago, so I'm fully immunized. So so my celebratory day out was as I went over to Harbor Freight, and what got me to start telling the story? Oh, because I got over there, and man, it was like a kid in a candy store, and I got out and I spent over $100 on. I got me another set of screwdrivers because I can't keep up with screwdrivers, and some more cutting dikes. And these old Pittsburgh ones that you can buy, I mean, they're dirt cheap, and the way I lose them, I don't need to spend any more money on that. But they work great. So I picked me up some of that, some more heat shrink, tie wrap. I had a ball in there. I had a whole cart full of stuff, but anyway, it sure was nice to get out being locked up for a year. But back to what I was talking about. Man, I tell you, I'm just a rattler tonight. But I had on my list of thoughts that I wanted to get with me doing all the CB repairs. I want to get me those little micro butane torches to heat the shrinks instead of me having to go find a lighter every time I want to heat shrink something. But anyway, I got so bewildered in there, or so bedazzled, or however you want to say it, that I ended up getting out of there without buying that. And here I am tonight working on something I sure could use. That I'm gonna have to go find a lighter and heat shrink to get my heat shrink to go down. But anyway, as you can see right here, what I'm doing right now is I'm just I'm soldering up a plug for this radio. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot to work with here, but I should be able to make her pretty with a little heat shrink on here. Just like that. Oh, I got a lighter handy. Cool. But I can go like all the big guys do. Instead, here I am using an old cheapo lighter. But anyway, there's one of them done. Go ahead and get the other one twisted up here and soldered. If I had more room, I'd probably solder this side by side, but I'm kind of limited to. I'll just twist and fold over for this as far as my connection. But I am soldering them so they can pull apart and don't have a problem down the road. There we go. Get that soldered. I like to bend it over when it's still a little warm, so it bends a little easier. There we go. Slide that over there. Heat shrink. I wonder who invented that. I bet you. I wonder if they're rich or somebody stole the idea from them and some corporation ended up getting rich off of it. But anyway, now we got a nice little plug on there. So now whenever somebody buys it, they can wire this up to their battery or however they're planning on wiring it up. And then in the end, they can do it. They can plug it in like that. Just a little upgrade on that. I don't know. It might have had a plug on it, and who knows. If they did, they sure were Neanderthals on taking this radio out. Let me go ahead and get the case back on it now and everything. I don't think you need to see all that, and then I'll show you the final product. Okay, here's the realistic one-hander, they call it. I just noticed that when I cleaned the front up. It actually cleaned up pretty good, this TRC-429. It's a plastic case, kind of yellow a little bit, but it doesn't have any breaks in it or nothing. I don't know if you can tell. You got your speaker, and everything works on it now. Let me go ahead and turn her up a little bit. I got a tone generating, I do believe. Squelch works nice. I went ahead and took the mic apart and cleaned all the rheostats on it, and variable resistors, and wow, look how much better that dial looks after I cleaned it. I pulled that out, and it had all kinds of crud behind it. And this is a little window that's just tinted red that fits over that selector, but that's irritating. Sorry. I'm going to turn that down. Well, which one's squelching? Squelch. Okay, anyway, so, whoops. Well, seriously, dude. Okay, so, oh, I know why I was doing that. It got me so sidetracked. Let me turn it up again a little bit. It's got an external and internal speaker, and let me get the squelch back up. There's the internal for the, which is pretty loud, and then you have the handset there, and of course you have an external headphone jack or a speaker jack that you could plug in a speaker there. But she's talking on the radio. Here's a hello audio. I don't know if you can see that or not, but she's definitely talking very well. Nice modulation. Hello audio. Hello. Yeah, and her peaks look nice there. Hello audio. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're looking good. I wonder what the frequency is. That's one thing I didn't do. Let me turn on the little frequency counter. Seriously, dude. Let me turn off that auto frequency generator. I don't need that right now. It's irritating me. Let's see what she is as far as frequency. 27. .015 on accuracy. We're going to leave that alone. I line that and then it'll probably go off somewhere else in the receiver or something. Not worth that. .015. And there's a wire running. There's a little bit of impedance. You know, if I'm in within 1 kilohertz, you're fine. So anyway, this is .015. So if that gives you an idea how online it is. But anyway, there is one repaired TRC-426. Hope you liked this little video. Like I said, I'm just kind of going through these. Excuse the mess in the bench. I usually like to keep a neat bench, but I'm knee deep in CBs right now, so I'm just trying to. I got a couple spares over here I use for parts, and I'm just trying to roll them through here and get them stacked on a shelf after I get them repaired. But it looks like my next one I'm going to work on is a little T-Berry Scout. I kind of just, as they came in, I'm just working down the pile, and this was the next one. Next one's going to be this little T-Berry. It's only a 23 channel. Don't know how much time I want to spend on that. It's probably a crystal radio, but those are known to be some pretty good little talkers for channel 19. It's kind of small, and then I got, it looks like another Cobra 25 LTD after that, and I got a Midland after that, and got what I got over here. I got a couple more Midlands there. I got a little, I guess you'd call it a preamp driver, a little Hawk preamp driver that I need to take a look at. I think it's supposed to do like 5 and 50 out, something like that, or 10 and 50 out, but it's a little tube amp. It's a pre-driver to, you know, you drive this into a bigger amp. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day. This is Electron.